For years, the truth stayed hidden, the victims forgotten, the cases left cold, until science revealed what time could not. This is decades in the dark, where cold cases are brought back to light. It was mid-July 1996 when a 31-year-old man named Blair Adams began to unravel. Friends said he was anxious, restless, and convinced someone was out to kill him. No one knew who or why. Just days later, Blair's half-naked body would be found in a fenced lot beside a Knoxville hotel, surrounded by thousands of dollars in cash, gold, and jewelry. Nothing stolen, no suspects, no answers. No, this is the story of 31-year-old Blair Adams. Blair was born in Surrey, British Columbia. Bright, friendly, known for his easy laugh. He worked construction and had recently been promoted to foreman. By all accounts, life was good. Then, suddenly, something changed. He stopped sleeping. He skipped meals. He told his mother that someone was trying to kill him. At first, she didn't believe him. His mother, Sandra, thought it was stress. Long hours, exhaustion, maybe a breakdown. He didn't name anyone, just said, "They want to kill me." Later, she admitted, "I thought he was just having a breakdown. I wish I'd listened closer." Within days, Blair quit his job without notice and began acting as if time were running out. On July 5, 1996, he emptied his savings and safety deposit box, nearly $6,000 in cash, gold, and jewelry, stuffed it into a small bag, and left. He tried to cross the US border into Seattle, but agents, suspicious of his cash, turned him back. The next morning, he tried again, this time successfully. From Seattle, he bought a one-way ticket to Frankfurt, Germany, where he'd once worked, but abruptly canceled it at the airport. Instead, he booked a last-minute flight from Seattle to Washington, D.C., and boarded a plane that evening. He landed after midnight at Washington Dulles International Airport, about 25 miles west of D.C. Rather than staying there, Blair left the airport, likely by taxi, and drove about 15 minutes to Reston, Virginia. At around 3 a.m., he appeared unannounced at the home of an old acquaintance, a woman who had once dated one of his friends from Germany. She later said Blair looked terrified. He told her someone was trying to kill him and begged to talk. She refused to let him in. She was alone and afraid, but gave him directions back to Dulles Airport, telling him he could rent a car there and get to safety. A few hours later, Blair did exactly that. He returned to Dulles, rented a Toyota Camry, and started driving south, his last known plan before everything unraveled. By that evening, Blair had made it all the way to Knoxville, Tennessee. At a gas station, the clerk said he was very nervous, constantly glancing toward the windows. He told her someone was following him, paid in cash, and sped off. A few hours later, he pulled into the Fairfield Inn just off Interstate 40. Surveillance footage showed him entering and exiting the lobby 5 times in under an hour, each time stepping outside to check the parking lot before pacing back inside. He finally paid for one night in cash but never went to his room. The bed was untouched. His car keys would later be found next to his body. The next morning, at 7:30 a.m., construction workers arrived at a fenced lot just steps from the hotel, separated only by a chain-link fence. His lips had already turned purple. "We tried to see if he was still alive," one worker later recalled. Lying in the dirt was Blair Adams, partially clothed, sexually assaulted, and severely beaten. His shirt was torn, his pants off, one shoe beneath him. He'd been struck in the head, apparently raising a hand to defend himself, and showed scrapes and road rash, as if dragged, stomped, or run over. Chief Cold Case investigator David Davenport said, "He was definitely struck in the head. It looks like he went down and then was hit again." Scattered across the area were thousands in mixed currency, US, Canadian, and even German bills, along with gold coins and small gold bars. Investigators found them spread as far as 100 yards from the body, as if they'd been tossed from a moving vehicle in the dark. Davenport theorized the killers may have panicked and fled, unaware how much they'd left behind. Or maybe it wasn't about money. Maybe it was personal. Toxicology showed no drugs or alcohol. A single long strand of hair was recovered from his body. DNA was extracted, but no match has ever been found. Investigators believe he was beaten with a heavy metal bar, possibly a crowbar or tire iron, both common at the site. Blair's erratic travels and paranoia fit a psychotic or manic episode, a man running from imagined pursuers. But the brutal injuries suggest he also crossed paths with someone truly dangerous. Some wonder if Blair was lured into a situation that turned violent. His mother once speculated that a relationship, possibly with another man, had gone wrong. But police never found evidence of that, and no such person was ever identified. Others believe it was random, A predator or drifter Blair met along the highway. Perhaps the person he feared was following him all along. Knoxville sits where Interstates 40 and 75 intersect. Corridors once linked to multiple highway murders. In the mid-90s, predators like long-haul truckers and transient drifters hunted along those same routes. Investigators briefly considered whether Blair might have been one of their victims. None of the known killers from that era matched his case, but Detective Davenport admits they still can't rule out a traveling offender who was just passing through. One final theory holds that Blair was trying to reach Atlanta, Georgia, where the 1996 Summer Olympics were about to begin. Knoxville sits right along that route. Maybe he believed the crowded, heavily guarded city would be a safe place to disappear. His mother later said she thought her son might have been trying to get to Atlanta. If that's true, he was only hours from safety when he died. Psychologists say persecutory delusions, the belief that someone's out to kill you, are among the most common symptoms of a mental breakdown. But real cases where those fears come true are almost unheard of. Studies show fewer than 0.1% of people with such delusions are later killed by another person. If Blair Adams was one of them, he was the rarest kind of victim, a man who really was being hunted after all. Almost 30 years later, Blair Adams remains one of Canada's strangest mysteries. A 31-year-old man who seemed to be running from something invisible. Maybe it was a breakdown, maybe it was someone he knew, or maybe it was something darker, something we'll never understand. We found this case as baffling as it is tragic, and we'd love to hear what you think happened. Leave your theories in the comments. Was Blair Adams fleeing his own mind, or did his killer find him first? This is Decades in the Dark, where science brings the past to light. Subscribe for more stories where justice never expires.